Hello babies, Mimzie's here with another book, and I've had this one for a really long time. I think I got it at the Smithsonian, and I don't know that I've ever read it. It just took some of my favorite things and mashed them all together into one fancy book called Gray Squirrel at Pacific Avenue. It's a squirrel, and we learned about habitats, which is science, and I love these things. And what I'm truly trying to love is pumpkin spice. Now these come highly recommended. So we're going to give it a try. Let's go ahead and just break it in half. I want to be a pumpkin spice girl. We ready? It smells good. I really do like a good tasty cake. The chocolate ones have a stranglehold on me. I'll say it's one of the better pumpkin spice things so far. How about that? Just pumpkins are the best pumpkin spice. That's all there is to it. Let's read our book. Look at my little friend back here. It's not even October yet, and he's already hanging out on my porch. That's all right. It's a fun time. The babies will love it. Okay. Gray Squirrel at Pacific Avenue. This is a nice double-page spread with the gray squirrel and the acorns. I say acorn. You say probably acorn. Mimzie's in the South, I say acorn. I also say, to be clear, it's pecan. Don't come at me with that pecan nonsense. It's pecan. All right. It's almost October, just a few more days. The October sun pours into the small backyard of the pink house on Pacific Avenue. A furry head pokes out of the nest of small leafy branches high in the live oak tree. Gray Squirrel has just woken up. He scurries out to a branch and startles a kinglet, which flies away. That's a kinglet. Y'all, if you ever went to Girl Scout camp, it's all I can do not to sing about the gray squirrel. I may not make it through the book. Scratching his ear with his hind foot, Gray Squirrel watches white-crowned sparrows feasting on birdseed at the feeder below. A scrub jay screeches from a manzanita bush, nibbling its dark red berries. Gray Squirrel is hungry too. He leaps through the tree crown like an acrobat. The branches bob under his feet. He hears the familiar bark of the brown dog that lives behind the fence in the yard next door. Gray Squirrel rushes to the ground, spiraling down the trunk head first. That is so neat how they can do that. And if you listen really closely, you might even hear our Chuck barking from the backyard, because he wants to come read the book too. And you can't see, but Hazel the kitty cat's right there, and right there is Zero the kitty cat. They came to help me read. It's my hype squad. Sparrows crowd the feeder, spilling a few seeds on the grass. Gray Squirrel finds some millet and munches, but above him the feeder holds even more tasty seeds. He scrambles up the pole. The birds flutter away. One perches nearby and scolds him. You know, lots of people put out bird seed, and they get so mad that the squirrels eat the bird seed. I want to feed the squirrels. I think you maybe wasn't invited, but I want to feed the squirrels. And good luck to the birds. Gray Squirrel. Just get it over with. Gray Squirrel shakes his bushy tail. Gray Squirrel shakes the bushy tail. Tuck a nut up in his toes, wrinkle up his little nose. Gray Squirrel swishes bushy tail. Maybe it's out of my system now. Maybe. Gray Squirrel dips his pointy nose in the birdseed and eats, scattering the seed hulls. They do be making messes. Too close to the perch's edge, he suddenly slips and loses his footing. He hangs on to the edge of the feeder with one paw. Dangling, he manages to reach with his other paw and pull himself back up. That's gotta be dangerous. Squirrels are very agile. Ooh, we have a predator, an enemy of the squirrel. With his keen eyes, he checks the backyard for predators. The yard looks empty. Gray Squirrel jumps to the ground, but he has made a mistake. He comes nose to nose with an orange cat who is hiding under the manzanita bush. And y'all, we know about those orange cats. It's always the orange cat. And you know what color cat Mimzie doesn't have? Orange. The cat's tail twitches. Gray Squirrel bounds toward the oak. The cat springs, but just as he does, Gray Squirrel leaps high onto the trunk. Run, little squirrel, run! Cats can also climb trees. The cat sprints up the tree, but Gray Squirrel is gone. He has rocketed from a branch, landing on the fence 5 feet away. Into the next yard he dives. With quick breaths, Gray Squirrel darts across the strange lawn. Not that the lawn is strange, it's just strange to him because it's not his lawn and maybe he's never been there before. Grrr, grrr, grrr. Trying to get my dog growl. Grrr. It's not coming out, and I have a good dog growl. Grrr, grrr. Sorry, I'm trying. Grrr. Behind him, the snarling brown dog stands ready to attack. The dog charges, but Gray Squirrel springs up an apricot tree. And I say apricot, not apricot. Tomato, tomato. He hurries through the branches and vaults over the dog's head onto the fence. Along the fence top he runs, finally leaping back to the oak in his yard. Whew. You gotta get home where he's relatively safe and sound. Him is so cute. All the scurrying has made Gray Squirrel hungry. He hears a chipmunk rummaging for acorns in the dry leaves below. The cat is nowhere to be seen. Gray Squirrel scoots down the oak and chases the chipmunk away. From behind a rock, the chipmunk chatters at him crossly. Have y'all ever seen a chipmunk down here in my part of Texas and Arkansas? We don't see chipmunks a whole lot. I could drive about 2 hours north and see one, and I tell you what, the first time I ever saw a chipmunk, I felt personally bamboozled because I grew up watching Chip and Dale on Sunday night Walt Disney World, and Chip and Dale were big. Chipmunks are not big. They're smaller than my hand. They're little bitty rascals. But we don't have those guys here. Great. But I did have one once. Somebody gave me one, and it got loose in my school. And we didn't see that thing for 6 months. But then we found it, so I assume he was hibernating. Gray Squirrel snatches a shiny brown acorn in his paws. With sharp front teeth, he cuts the hard shell in half and devours the nut inside. After finishing 5 more acorns, he digs a little hole in the ground, drops in another acorn, and covers it with earth. He will save this nut for later. Or he will forget where he put it. Sounds familiar. And it will grow into a new oak tree. Put it somewhere safe. If you know, you know. The afternoon sun is hot and Gray Squirrel is full. He jumps onto the fence for a view of the yard. The orange cat is nowhere to be found. Next door, the brown dog has fallen asleep. Pigeons nibble politely at the fallen seed. Ooh! Gray Squirrel raises his tail over his head for shade. I needed some shade too. I kind of scooched back a little bit into the shade because I couldn't read the book. Then he licks his front paws and washes his nose and ears. He combs his fur with his teeth and claws. The backyard is at peace. Squirrels are good groomers. They take care to keep themselves clean. Scratch! The screen door flies open and the pigeons scatter. Out of the house bounds the orange cat. On the fence top, Gray Squirrel freezes. His enemy spots him and pricks up his ears. He leaps onto the fence, ready for some fun. That does not sound like fun. Not for the Gray Squirrel. Gray Squirrel searches for an escape. He springs to the oak, spreading all 4 feet wide. He flattens his body and stretches his bushy tail behind him like a parachute. He glides to a small branch and climbs to a higher limb. The cat jumps to the base of the tree, watching Gray Squirrel fluffs his tail, holding it straight up behind him, and quickly flicks it. He steps his hind feet. Don't go digging off more than you can chew. The orange cat crouches to spring up the tree. Woof, woof! The brown dog suddenly charges through a loose board he has discovered in the fence. The cat hisses. The dog growls. They whisk around the base of the tree until the cat makes a dash to the front yard. The dog follows close behind. Gray Squirrel watches calmly from his lofty limb. So the dog chased off the cat. And Gray Squirrel's going, oh, he's like a snoozle. He says, time for a nappy nap. He takes a deep breath. Finding a comfortable spot, Gray Squirrel relaxes, spreading his body out on the branch with his tail draped over his back. Then he closes his eyes for a peaceful rest high in the live oak tree in the backyard of the pink house on Pacific Avenue. You know what? Mimzie thinks that she maybe needs a nappy nap too. I'm feeling a little bit sleepified. But I just want you to know that I love to read you books, and Mimzie loves you.